Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. We had such a great turnout last night for our crosstalk meeting. There were so many people in that room last night. I want to thank everybody who came and hung out with us. You guys kept us sober one more night. Great dialogue, great discussion. Thank you guys once again for hanging out with us at our Friday night crosstalk meeting. I want to continue the conversation that we just started discussing yesterday about the newcomer who comes in the room. We see him, we don't hear from him, and we never see him again. I titled the monologue yesterday, Taking Stock. Before I get into the nuts and bolts of today's monologue, I want to give you this disclaimer. I'm not talking about a specific program of action. I'm not talking about AA only or NA only or anything like that. I'm not talking about a program. I'm talking about the fellowship and the communities that are built up around these programs. I like to say the program I work, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, it's a perfect program for imperfect people. After all, history is full of how human beings tend to mess up God's plans. And that's what I want to target and discuss today specifically is the fellowship, the things that we see and witness going on inside of the fellowship and how that might be contributing to having people go back out and we never see them again. Again, I'm speaking from my own personal experience within the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. I can't speak for any other fellowship other than that, only mine. So please keep that in mind. Why am I doing this? Well, I think for one, first and foremost, transparency. I think it's transparency. I think it's consistency. And I think it's a missed opportunity if we don't do this. I think it's a missed opportunity to demonstrate the very thing that we preach to that newcomer, accountability. How can I expect a newcomer and demand accountability? Tell the newcomer you have to demand accountability from yourself whenever I am not practicing it, whenever we as a fellowship are not practicing that accountability. To me, it sounds like a double standard. I've said this 1,000 times, I'll go to my grave. Had I not had the fellowship of like-minded men and women who'd been through what I'd been through, had I not had that fellowship to connect with, I may not be standing here talking to you at 6:30 on a Saturday morning. That's just the truth. And it's important that we have that connection, especially when we're trying to get clean and sober and we're trying to stay that way. But as I mentioned, I kind of set the stage. The newcomer comes in the room, doesn't speak, doesn't say anything, doesn't talk to anybody. We see him. We start having all these questions. I wonder what's their story, what's going on with them. And they go back out and they leave and we never see him again. Why are they going back out? And as I shared yesterday, you can break that down into three categories of people. You have the people that they're just not done. They don't want to connect. They're not done. They're just there to get their paper signed. They're just there to go through the motions. Maybe got the nudge from the judge to show that, hey, okay, I'm trying, when they're really not. They're just not done, and that's fair. That probably makes up a large majority of people who come in, we see them, and we never see them again. Hands down, I agree, that probably makes up a large majority. I think there's a second class, the people who are willing, the people who do connect, the people who who go back out into the real world, and they start their lives over again, and they lose that connection. I believe that happens too, but these people do. They're at least willing. They want to connect, and they do connect. But they don't maintain that connection. And the third class, and this is really the target audience that I'm just speaking of today anyway, are those people who want to connect, but they can't seem to connect. For whatever reason, they can't seem to connect. And that's where I think it's the responsibility of the fellowship to start taking that 10-step approach, if you will, and ask yourself, why can these people not connect with us? We're talking about a very small subset of people. I agree, 100%. But isn't one too many? Isn't one person's life in jeopardy too many? I think it's important, and I think it's a fair assessment to make, to ask, why can we not 10-step what we do as a group? Why can we not take stock and take inventory? What's working? What's not working? Why can't we get feedback? Sure, you can argue, well, we can't please everybody. I agree with that, but you can at least get feedback and at least consider that feedback, right? Maybe I need to change this in a meeting. Maybe the fellowship needs to change that, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's important that we at least look at it from the context of maybe a 10-step review, taking stock, as I shared yesterday. But sure, you can argue. You can absolutely argue that, hey, the 10-step is for the individual AAer, not for the group. I agree with that. But aren't the groups themselves made up of individual AAers? And after all, doesn't our 12-step program of action tell us in the 12th step to practice our principles, our 10-step, in all of our affairs? Does it not say that? If you make the arguments that the 12 steps are to be applied only to the individual and not the group, which is a valid argument, by the way, then you can no longer make the argument that the traditions must be applied to the individual. After all, the traditions were meant specifically for the group. And see, therein lies a problem. Therein lies the problem. We've complicated the shit out of things. Now, for the newcomer coming in the room, we tell them there's 12 steps, but now all of a sudden we said, hey, there's 12 steps and 12 traditions. It's not 24 steps to the new, or it's not 12 steps to the newcomer. It's 24 steps. We've complicated the shit out of it. We've inextricably tied the traditions to the steps and assigned all 24 of these steps, 12 steps plus the 12 traditions, to the newcomer. And said, yeah, here's the 12 steps, but you also got to remember these 12 things. We've complicated the shit out of it, and it creates confusion. No wonder some of those people coming in, they go, yeah, this isn't for me. I say that because I personally experienced that same thing. It was too confusing. For me, there was the God element too, for sure. But it created a lot of confusion. We could unintentionally, inadvertently be sending people back out because we complicated the shit out of a very simple program. We'll continue the discussion more tomorrow. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. This, you guys, absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to hear discussed, put it into the Recovery Classroom Facebook Messenger page. One of us will see it, we'll take a look at it, we'll see what we can do. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.